Hello everyone, today I want to talk about the 6 core human needs that drive you and your life. Hello everyone, as talked about in the intro, we're going to delve into the 6 core human needs. I heard about this from Tony Robbins about 5 or 6 years ago, and it's been proven to be true in the thousands of staff members that I've coached, the clients and the people I've interacted with. I've always found one of these 6 key human needs to be at their base level and what drives them. And once you understand what drives you or drives someone else, you can help them reach the authentic life they deserve. So, as always, I'm going to start with a quote, and the quote is, "What creates a Charlie Manson versus a Nelson Mandela? Ultimately, it's how they meet their needs," from the great Tony Robbins. So, for those who don't know, Charlie Manson, he's a criminal, he's a mass murderer, fits into that perspective. And then you have Nelson Mandela, who's an incredible gentleman who was locked away for a long time, and his first act of being locked away for 25 plus years was forgiveness. But they're both humans, they both share 99.9 recurring % of the same DNA. So why are they so different? Why does one person take a life, and why does one look to give life? And interestingly, it comes down to how they meet their needs. Charlie Manson had a need for significance. He got that through killing. Perhaps Nelson Mandela had a need for significance as well, but he did it through helping other people. So once you identify your needs, you can ask if they're serving you or if there's a better way to meet that need. So a lot of my clients will constantly a lot of the conflict, especially relationship counselling that I do, comes into the fact that people are trying to understand people's motives. So it's quite often partners, it's women not understanding their partners, and the female clients I have will be asking me to interpret where they're coming from, and they expect me as a man I should just know. But it's much more than that. I can go past the fact that I'm masculine, and I can see that perspective. I can go past that and see their needs, because it's one thing to know blokes think like guys think like this, and women think like that, but we're all human, and behind that sacred masculine and sacred feminine is much more. Employment, quite often we think a boss hates us or is creating difficulty for us, when really their needs just need to be served a little bit differently. So I know in my personal story I was constantly judging people, and it's something that I'm regretful of, move forward, and I've changed that. But I would judge people. I would think that they were acting in a certain way because they were selfish, because they were angry, because they were jealous. I used to make all these judgments, when I now realise they were just trying to meet a need. They wanted to feel love or connection, and they didn't know how to do it, so they did it through jealousy, or they did it through anger. And I tell you what, once you see that, it's very easy to forgive, and your life becomes much smoother because you're not constantly at people, and you're not constantly evaluating the world as a hostile place. And Einstein said that. Einstein said there's only one question that's important in life, and that question is, do you live in a friendly universe or a hostile universe? I love that quote, because it's your choice. We all live in the same universe, whether we like it or not. Ultimately, is it hostile or is it friendly? I think it's friendly. So these 6 human needs, let's go through them so you can start to identify them in your partner or your relationships or your work colleagues. And the first is the need for certainty. We all have a need for certainty. We all need to know that when we wake up tomorrow, there's going to be a planet. We all need to know that if we drop a ball, it hits the ground. That need for certainty allows us to put frameworks. It allows us to commit. It allows us to move. It allows us to put plans in place. So we all need a need for certainty. If we were uncertain about everything, we wouldn't be able to move forward. We all know what happens when a child is uncertain, what happens to the next step. They become anxious and they can't move forward. So certainty is incredibly important. And sometimes people get certainty by staying in a relationship that doesn't serve them. Sometimes they get certainty by staying in a job they hate. It's important to know that. They're not weak because they're staying in a job or a relationship they hate. They just want certainty, which is what we all need, but they could be served better. Number 2, the second need that all humans have is for uncertainty. And isn't it a crazy world that the universe has created with duality? We need certainty and uncertainty. Now, that comes in the form of a little bit of mystery from time to time. We don't want to watch a film that we know the end of. We'd rather be surprised. We love twists. We love novel things. We love new places. We love variety. So while we need a baseline need for certainty, we need to know that the world is going to be here tomorrow, but we also love that world to be a little bit different than it was the day before. So Uncertainty is something we really need, and in relationships, surprising your partner is really important, which provides uncertainty. One of the things I see with relationships quite often is you're so certain that person's going to behave that way the next day, you stop doing the things that really make the relationship great. Number 3 is significance, and we can get significance in a number of ways. If you're in the hood, putting a gun to someone's head and jacking their car immediately makes you significant. Violence can make people significant. However, love can make people feel significant. Significant is key. We all want to feel it, and acknowledge it's thinking that we don't isn't very helpful. But how we find that significance is different. And we all know when we see children, some children cry and misbehave because they want attention, they want significance. So they're not bad kids, their model of getting significance is broken and needs to be addressed. And you'll see this with loud people. I see it quite often with people who are really insecure, but they act quite obnoxious. It's because they just want significance. They want to be known. They want to be seen. And it's really important that as you become more mindful in your 1 year life transformation journey, that you do give people a bit of your attention in order to help them feel significant, and they'll do the same with you, because everyone loves someone who makes them feel significant. Number 4, connection or love. We all want connection and love. In fact, I believe this is the overarching principle of the human needs. Connection and love is really, really important. You can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have someone to share it with, or even someone to see that you have the money and the love, you won't have happiness. So understanding that what we do is for love really helps you see that even though people might be misguided, sometimes they are violent or sometimes they're abusive, but they're still looking for love. Moderating their behaviour in order to find love and showing them more successful tactics is at the key of helping people who aren't able to fall in love, find relationships, or get connection. And remember, connection starts with loving yourself. If you can't love yourself or connect with yourself, you'll be hopeless trying to connect with other people, because you'll not have a model or a roadmap on how to do that. Number 5, the 5th human need, which is necessary, is growth. We need to be growing. Knowing that you're growing at something really increases happiness, whether it's your physical exercise, whether it's your meditation, whether it's your job, whether it's your relationship. Growth is what life is about. When the source energy influences evolution or life or the creation of the planets, ultimately growth is behind that. Nothing stays in the same spot. That's how the universe works. It's all about change, growth, and transition. You must be growing to be happy. So you need to ask yourself, how can I grow in the most important areas of my life? And number 6, the 6th human need is something that we neglect probably more than these other 5, is contribution. Life is not about what you get, it's always about what you give. It might sound corny, but ultimately what you give is a reflection of what you get, and nothing has value till you give. That's where you can really start to create happiness in your life. Now, obviously from a monetary perspective, we're told to take, take, take. Now, you can show me the people taking, and they might be doing a good job at it, but they won't be happy. That's something that I've seen over thousands of people I've either coached or worked with. Now, giving is something that you can do over and over again. You can only take so much before you lose your friends and all the other things. You go to jail eventually if you try and take everything. But giving is the ultimate source of love and power. And the more we give, the more we contribute, the happier we are. So these key human needs, first of all, you need to ask yourself, what do you do to get certainty? And if it's staying in a bad situation, then you need to find a better way to get certainty. How do you deal with uncertainty? Is there enough in your life? Is there some mystery? Is there some excitement? Have you booked, some travel to some unusual places, or even just reading some different books or getting some different messages over the internet? 3, how do you get significance? How do you get attention? Is it positive or negative? 4, where's your connection and love coming from, and how do you maintain that? 5, how are you growing as a person? And 6, how are you contributing to the world? Who have you touched recently to make their lives better? Because these are the key sources. So if you'd like a daily update or a daily message about these 6 human needs, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, or check out my website. They'll be listed below. But other than that, I'm excited to see you tomorrow for the next video on your 1 year life transformation challenge. Goodbye.